Beatz, what's good, bro?
Hey, what's good? How's it going?
Chilling.
Chilling,
We got
chilling.
the other bro behind the camera, Paul.
What's up,
up,
bro?
What's up? Where are we right now?
We're in Canada, British Columbia.
Oh, Canada. What's the national anthem out here?
Yeah, you got the first part right. That's
it. What happens after that?
This is in Canada.
Oh man. So this episode, I'd like to, you've gone through a lot. You've transitioned from going from Queens, New York, right, to Canada, from being a single bachelor, right, to being married.
Yeah.
And now you're expecting, right?
Yep.
One on the way. So can you speak about that? Initially, what was it like growing up amongst me and Paul? As being three brothers from Queens, and that transition.
Oh yeah, I guess in simple words, like we were kind of, I guess, sheltered. Our parents, we were always with our parents all the time. I guess we were our own friends. We didn't get any sleepovers with cousins or nothing like that.
Yeah.
We used to go downstairs and put our bicycle in stilts and ride it as fast as we can. Like that was like.
You gotta explain that. So, what we used to do is, so you remember training wheels? If you put a bike with training wheels on,
like books or
if you put the training wheels of the bike on top of like books,
the back wheel floats.
It's like a tricycle, so the bike doesn't move, but you can pedal as fast as you want.
That's what we used to do.
We used to do that.
And then we used to have rubber band wars. And
Dad used to be in printing, so he used to come home with a bunch of like bags of rubber bands, high quality rubber bands. Yeah. We used to strip down almost butt naked and just run around the house with rubber bands.
And we were good at it too. And then the arrow, we used to have make arrows, put like a weighted object in the cardboard part of the hanger, and like a pen or something like that. Yeah, and then the rubber.
Remember, so
it's good stuff.
Not only a little bit of shelters, very heavy in the church.
Yeah.
Right. How do you think that prepared you for now? Is it a negative? Is it a positive?
Oh, it's positive. I'm active over here as well. In regards to responsibility, I guess it had a part in molding me in how I think and how I operate. How I deal with people, how I deal with life in general.
So you basically always had your own thing going. Well, I think amongst the three of us, we always had our own thing going.
Yeah. Well, because Mom and Dad always told us that if we like something, they actually always had our back and our support on whatever we liked. So first it was music, or if it was technology, they'll buy us robotic stuff, or Paul when he liked that stuff, and Legos and all that. And like for myself, I think mostly, well, I kind of moved to that myself. I didn't need much of parental influence for like my music stuff when I had started. Well, except when Mom and Dad took us, learn piano and guitar. But
I want to get to that. I want to get to that. But before we get there, I think that for me specifically, we weren't spoiled in the least.
Oh no.
But what Mom and Dad did do is, they saw that we naturally liked music, so okay, they didn't mind spending money towards music. But if I remember going to Mom and Dad, hey, everyone has a PlayStation, can we get a PlayStation?
Yeah.
And their response would never be no, it would just be, sure, just get it.
We bought it. Yeah, we bought it ourselves. And I was like probably 15.
I think you were like 15 when we got our first PS2,
and that was a PS2,
right?
And I think we only had it.
18? It probably was closer to 18.
It's probably close to 18.
That was a PS2, so we're talking about like 2008,
How old
7?
am I now? Yeah, something like that.
But that really mentality was really cool because it was like we valued and knew the value of the things that we purchased. And so for me, I know that that mentality about if I want something, I have to put in the work to go get it, whether it be if I got $2 for lunch one day, saving $1 every day, how many days is it going to take for me to get, like that's what I used to do.
Yeah. Because Friday you wouldn't get that burger or the 4 cheesesteaks or the Sister Lisa.
Shout out to Sister Lisa, Sister Delpech at Church of God Christian Academy.
Side stories,
But so Legendary Beatz is what?
Oh, Legendary Beatz is me.
That's you. You got the t-shirt on?
I got the t-shirt on and everything, yeah. Yeah, I started it back in 2007-ish. Well,
Okay.
not Legendary Beatz. I was. Oh, there's a fly coming.
Oh,
I was
it's like
first.
a mosquito
I was
here. There's a Canadian mosquito just
yeah.
tried to attack me.
What was it? I was like DJ Legendary or something at some point.
I remember M4O. I don't know if you remember
M4O,
this.
yeah,
Music for Life.
Music for Life, yeah.
And then you changed that to.
I think it was DJ Legendary or
Yeah.
DJ Music, and then I kept moving along. Probably, I guess 2010 is kind of where Legendary Beatz kind of just stuck.
Yeah.
I think I always had a form of Legendary in most of my names or in what I did. And Legendary Music, or actually it was Legendary Music at one time with a Z. That was during my SoundClick days, and then I changed to Legendary Beatz. Yeah, Legendary Beatz was where I started producing, making my own instrumentals with FL Studio.
Some bangers, man. Very 2006-ish.
I didn't start with bangers. My first beats were terrible.
Yeah, but that beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Because you have a story where you used to say, you remember looking back at how trashy your music was, but you had buyers.
I did, which is weird. Yeah. So at the time, like, actually, this is when spamming was good. This was back in, I'm talking about like 2004, 2007, you know, pretty much before 2010, 12, when people started picking up.
That spamming was effective.
Spamming was very effective. So on Reverb Nation, I used to hit up everybody who's in the hip hop genre. And that was when I had my website. I don't know if it was Legendary Music. It probably was Legendary Music on SoundCloud and whatever. And this guy was in Long Island, and he's like, "Hey, yeah, I'll buy whatever. I think it was 15 beats." And I was like, "All right, that's cool. It's $100. Damn.
15 beats for $100.
Yeah, man, exclusive."
You were devaluing the industry.
You know what? We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, so I met this guy at a McDonald's. That was actually my first official sale.
Yeah.
Was in the McDonald's in Long Island. I gave him the disc, and this guy was like,
that sounds like shady.
Oh man, it was. This guy was at least 30 years old. I don't know why he thought that he can be a rapper. I went there with my friend at Stafford. Everyone in Stafford, right? Or Stafford dropped me off there or whatever. And this guy was like 30 years old, you know, and he was still a rapper. But I didn't care because he's paying me $100
for 15
for
beats.
15 beats.
Exclusives or leases?
I think they were exclusives because I didn't care at that point. I got $100, and that's kind of what started. Because the fact is, like,
hold up, wait. So let's break this down for the people. Exclusive. Anyone who's into music or purchasing or leasing beats knows that the regular traditional sale of a beat would be a lease, which means that the producer can resell this beat to other people 1,000 times over.
You have to read the contracts, and I try to show that on my talk about that on my YouTube channel.
Shameless plug, yeah.
I didn't say the YouTube channel name right.
You so, say that, okay.
YouTube channel, Legendary Promo TV. Yeah. The reality is, so when an artist purchases a lease or exclusive rights, what that actually gives them is rights let's talk about leasing first. When you purchase a lease, what that gives the artist is the right to sell however many copies that's distinguished or mentioned in the contract for their finished work. Their finished work being that when they added vocals to it or they added other soundtracks or whatever on top of that instrumental. They cannot go and sell the instrumental.
No, that's what I'm saying. No.
Okay,
I'm saying that the producer can sell that beat.
Oh, yes, yeah. So the producer can take this same beat and sell it to someone else.
But now exclusive means?
Exclusive means that I sell you this instrumental exclusively in the sense that I can no longer sell it. But in reality, I do have rights to that instrumental in the sense that,
you have
ownership in that sense, but I cannot sell it. I sold you rights in the sense of that you can use this for your finished work.
It's still your intellectual property.
It's still my intellectual property for that, but they get rights in regards to their finished product.
Exactly.
So their finished track, that's theirs. I will no longer sell the instrumental. It's off the market, but I can still kind of put it so people can listen to it, but they cannot purchase it. And you have your track that you can sell unlimited copies of your version of your song or whatever, using an instrumental and so on and so forth. But then contracts can be changed based on the needs of the individual that you're selling it to.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Modified.
you could modify it as much as you want, but this is general.
But so you 10 to 15 years ago, bringing it back full circle, sold 15 exclusive beats, and you can no longer make money from these beats again, to an individual that was of the age of 30 that was a rapper.
Yeah.
Super shady in a parking lot.
Yep. No, it wasn't in the parking lot. It was in the McDonald's. Or maybe it wasn't in the parking lot, but I think it was in the McDonald's. Because how else would he know that I was waiting for him? So
in the McDonald's for $100, 15 exclusive beats, $100.
They were all terrible. But the reality, you know what? You can't really put a price. So that's the issue with being an online producer. You know, it's like you kind of come into this realm of how can I get these beats sold? How can I make the most money? And unfortunately, at that point in time, for a couple of years, I was in that stance. I was like, I want to make money fast, which isn't the reality. You have to build a client base. You have to build relationships. I started to realize near 2014 that people are still people, even though they're online and you're talking to them. Yeah. They're not just...
They want personality.
Yeah, they want personality. Yeah. So they actually buy into you and not the actual product, which is interesting. And I didn't realize that until 2014 when I started... there's artists I met, never met in real life, but online. His name is Brent Flicks. Brent Flicks. Yeah, Flicks. B Flicks. Shout out. And he was, and there was a few other producers who were network, but he was one of the artists that invested a lot into my type of work, not only just because I was providing quality work, but because of my personality. So I was talking to this person online, never spoke to them on the phone, never saw them face to face, not even video chatted, but we built a friendship and a relationship in the sense of that he trusts my work. He would send me money. I would give him a product that's good, custom. Usually it was custom work. And, you know, I learned that people pay people who they can trust. You know, why do you go to your local grocery store? It's because the local grocery store, you know, is there physically. Plus, they have the stuff that you need because you see, oh yeah, this person's going there, this person's going there, and you're actually getting what they need, and then coming back with whatever goods it is.
It's really interesting. It's just that, even me with photography, it's like people, before seeing any work, are willing, if they can bond with you and they see a chemistry with you as a service provider, they're gonna do work with you. Whether it's funny because you can really actually under deliver and not give good work, but we're good people, so we do exactly. And they're still willing to do work with you because they like you.
Well, that's kind of what I'm also learning in my current condition where I'm working at, because I'm a project manager at a machine shop, and I'm learning now, just like what my boss kept telling me, is that face-to-face contact. When you're able to build that relationship face to face, you kind of build friendships and relationships. They're no longer just customers or people who are doing services for you. They now do it in a way they'll do it even faster, or they'll be happy to do it for you. Even if you're in a bind, they'll do it for you. And plus you are paying these people, of course, or they're paying you for whatever goods and stuff like that, or services. But still, it's a better relationship. So it's not like, oh, this is just another customer that they're talking to. They'll be like, oh, this is actually someone who cares about the service that I'm giving them, and they respect me in a certain way, and I actually like this person, you know, or like their personality. So it helps out.
But so talking about personalities and the shift from, because the personality of New York, where you were born and raised, and the personality of Canada is completely polar opposites. Because you're not just we're not talking about Toronto. We're talking about you are on the opposite end in the western region in British Columbia. So what were some experiences did you like New York growing up?
I don't know. I don't really have an
You can say no.
I don't like, I always say no as my first answer, but it's not that I didn't like it. It's just that I realized that at a young age that New York, there's a lot of stuff you have to worry about. And I was the older brother. I was the older brother of the three of us, and when we were growing up, we would hear gunshots outside of our window. At the end of the block, we would hear waking up to gunshots. We always hear ambulance. There's always police pulling over somebody. Always black dudes getting arrested and stuff like that. Fights all over the place. You have to worry about how you're walking on the street, what color you're wearing, and all that stuff. And so I built up I always say I'm paranoid.
Yeah.
I built up a paranoia in the sense of like, I always worry about those things. Like, I'm like, okay, if we go somewhere, I'm the one thinking, no, it's getting too late. I want to go home.
Well, I mean, I guess that's part of the experience that a lot of people don't think exists. Like you mentioned specifically, because Far Rockaway, Queens, which where we're at, is not just blacks. It's a lot of Spanish and Jewish people. But when you mentioned seeing blacks get arrested, black males get arrested, I remember you once stepped foot outside of the house.
Oh yeah. So it was a Friday night, and I was about to go play ball, and I stepped out of my house. We walked up the sidewalk, across the street, and
on the same block.
On the same block, but then I crossed the street over to the other block, right? And then there's this van. I thought I was in Grand Theft Auto. This police van came out. There's at least 5 police officers that came out. I don't know why all 5 of them had to come out. Then the chief or whoever he was, they all had bulletproof vests on. I don't know why. I'm just one individual.
But you from Queens, so you probably had the hoodie on.
So they so one of them started just patting me down and all that and asking me, "Oh, where you live?" I said, "I live up the block. I live
probably
right here."
They most likely saw you come out of your house.
No, they didn't. They actually drove up and just like just go behind me. And then I'm like, okay, it's just right here. And I was acting calm because that's just how I am. I became that way because of how
you just use
anything's
gonna happen.
I'm aware, so you just have to be aware of it so that things can go bad. So, okay, yes, I was wearing a hoodie and I was wearing jeans or sweatpants and sneakers. And they said, "Oh yeah, you fit the description of there was a robbery up the street, and you fit the description." So I'm like, okay. In my mind, I'm like, every black man on this sidewalk here fits that description. Yeah. So from then on, that kind of confirmed my understanding that it's not that it's New York, but I realized that for myself, I have to present myself in a way where I don't want to look like a threat, but yet I don't want to be a victim. So there was also people who told me that because of how I walk, I look like...
You walk aggressive. So, bro, it's a pleasure.
Nice seeing you guys.
I've wanted to have you on camera for quite some time, but the little mileage gap between the two countries and but I just wanted to say I do admire you as an older brother, both you and Paul. But it's nice to see that, you got married, you made it out the hood.
That's what
now
people
you're expecting.
That's what people tell you. First thing someone told me before I left was like, "Yo, you made it out, man." Jason told me, he said, "You're gonna make it out, man. That's good." I was like, "Made it out or what?" We're like, but yeah, no.
No, we lived through struggles, but mom and dad never. According to them, we don't live in the hood. According to them, everything was rainbows and roses.
No, it's the in the ghetto.
Yeah, but no, it's been a pleasure. All right.
Yep.
All right, guys. Peace. So, could you just you could just shout out your social medias real quick?
My handles. Yeah. My website is www.legendarybeatsonline.com. That's Beats with a Z. My Twitter and Instagram is Legendary Beats with a Z. And my email address is legendarybeats@gmail.com. That's with a Z. Or a Z, I should say, because I'm in Canada. They say Z for Z. It's ridiculous. I know they're adding letters to the Z.
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. But I started saying it. It's been natural. It's been weird.
That's a European thing, right?
I don't know. I think it's English or whatever. Yeah. So I tell people, I'm like, yeah, Z. And they know they know what's going on, but I'm like, I feel like unnatural, but it's whatever.
That's cool.
Sorry to go off topic there.
Nah, by the way, if you want to work, all of you music people and artists with a very high quality, I've seen this man in action do his work. He obsesses about every client that he gets.
Yeah, by the way, I would also like to get into if you need jingles for commercials, or if you need for podcasts, background music for podcasts, YouTube intro music. I love to get into that. Of course, I provide my service at a price. I do a lot of this for passion, but I do have to justify the time that I put into it because I have responsibilities now. And my wife doesn't want me just
wasting your time.
Well, it's weird because she doesn't say it's a waste. I feel it's a waste of time if I'm not making money at it because I want to say, hey, yeah, I spent 2 hours here.
You're mad at me, but I just made $200.
No, she doesn't get mad. No, because the thing is, I do make a little bit of money off of music.
So it pays off. Yeah.
It does pay itself, but then there's sometimes where I work on stuff and I would take a few hours to work on something, but not necessarily am I getting paid for that.
Yeah.
Right, so.
All right.
Yeah, that's that. Sorry for rambling.
All right, man.
Yep.
Thanks again.
Thanks. Yeah.
See you guys.
Peace.
We were recording, right?
Yeah, I see the red dot. There's nothing blinking. I don't know what you're doing.
This is your guy, though?